Hey, everybody. Welcome to day 33 of 90. It's a beautiful Sunday, and we have had a great day and an amazing weekend, and we are sad to see it end. I guess that would be the term. I was
Yeah.
trying to think of the right term to say, but I guess sad to see it end would be a thing.
Why are you sad to see it end?
Well, because it was a good weekend. It was relaxing. We got an extra
hmm
hour of sleep today.
We got way more than an extra hour of sleep today.
Why?
Well, because we had the extra hour, but then not anybody in our house really got up and about until 9.
Oh, I did. I was up.
Really?
I got up at like 7:45.
Why didn't you get the rest of us up?
Well, my dear, I did. I went around to everybody and said, "Hey, it's time to get up." And everybody was like, And so I, rather than poking the bear, very calmly and quietly came back downstairs and read for a few more minutes. And then I made the rounds again, and the girls got up. And then I went upstairs and said, "April, it's time to get up." And you were like, "Okay." And then I completely took my shower. When I got out of the shower and out of the bathroom, you whopped up out of the bed. "Look out here," you said. "Look out, Sadie, it's time to get up." So, you don't remember all
That
of
was
that?
probably accurate, but no.
You don't remember any of that?
No.
That's funny. That's a throwback to the old days right there. But you did get up and take Lauren to the pig farm this morning.
Yeah, 6 o'clock every
Yeah.
day.
So you did that and then came home and passed out.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things we said we were going to do in November, and we have neglected to this point, because last night, if you've seen the video, we were both way too tired to do that. We probably should have just slept on it or something. I don't know. But it's time to...
And Friday, we just completely forgot.
Yeah, Friday was the first.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what, we owe 3 things?
Yeah, for the first, second, and today.
Okay, you going to go first?
Well, we can go one at a time, or we're doing all 3. I don't know.
You can do one at a time.
Okay, so for Friday, I would say that I am thankful for the community that we have around us. We get to go and be around all different personalities, all different backgrounds, whenever we are out in the community with things related to the school, pretty much.
My first thing that I'm thankful for is this family. I don't know what life would be like without it. I don't know, I mean, you can't say what would life be if I wasn't here, because you just don't know. But I'm thankful for my family, for my kids, and for my wife.
Yeah, he just did that. Thanks.
Now you got to do number 2.
Yeah. How about you go first this time?
Well, I just went. You said one at a time.
I know.
Okay.
You do number 2.
Okay, so the second thing I'm thankful for, I'm thankful for our home, for our house, our actual dwelling. It is quaint. It has got some character. It keeps us warm. It keeps us cool. It keeps us dry. And I'm thankful that we have it.
Okay. So for my second day of thankfulness, I would say that I am thankful that we have specifically my dad, who was able to fix the car for Jadyn so that she could get to and from DBU so that this weekend could happen.
Yeah, very good. I'm thankful for him too. Okay, now you got to do 3.
Okay, so today, for day 3, I'm thankful that we live in a place where we don't have to fear physical persecution for following Jesus.
For me, for day 3, I am thankful for our church and for the word that we get on Sundays, and sometimes even in between. We're actively involved in a church, but we get word from many different pastors slash preachers, whatever you want to call them, we both try to take the time to invest in that throughout the week, and I'm thankful for all of the good word that we get. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, got to get caught up on that. So now we're all caught up. So now you have 24 hours to think of something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is the first day of the prayer challenge tomorrow.
First day of the prayer challenge tomorrow. So we do have something special for you. Earlier today, we sat down with Jadyn and her roommate Maddie to talk a little bit about their experience so far at DBU, and it was great. I'm so thankful for the relationship that those two have. We were really worried. I don't know if worried's the right term. Maybe anxious about how things were going to go for Jadyn when she got there. And so, yeah, I'm really, really, really pleased at the relationship that she's got with her roommate, Maddie. And take a look at this, and then we'll be right back to wrap it up. As you can see, today we have a couple of guests with us. This is Jadyn, our daughter. You guys know her. That's why I said you know her, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jadyn, tell us who's sitting next to you.
This is my roommate from DBU. This is Maddie. She's really awesome. We've become really good friends, actually.
So you guys have been living together at DBU for what, like 2 months now? I think it's about that. So yeah. August to September, October, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So 2 months. And tell us a little bit about how that's going. How did it start in the beginning? Was it like super awkward, or did you guys sort of hit it right off?
I think we kind of hit it right off. It was like day 2, we were already into like deep personal conversations about God and like about our backstories and everything.
Yeah.
We're really similar. And so we kind of related to each other over our stories and our past and what God is doing and what God has done through our families and everything. And that really just kind of brought us together. And our personalities are a lot alike. So.
Well, that's good. So you guys are both at DBU. And it's probably one of those places, at least for us as a family, we sort of knew that when we went there, this was the place that Jadyn needed to be. And so what about you? What was your experience like whenever you were like trying to figure out where you wanted to go to school?
That was hard. I actually sent in like 5 different applications to different schools around the country. There was one was Liberty, one was the Master's College in California, and then 3 of them were in Texas. And I thought I was going to be going to Liberty for the longest time, but something, I guess, changed my mind. I think it was God mainly was just saying, like, no, you don't need to go there. And then we toured. Tarleton is in my hometown, and so that was almost the obvious choice for the longest time. But then a friend of mine from church went to DBU. She actually graduated this past year, and my pastor was like, you really need to go there. Like, for what you want to do, that would be the perfect school for you. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just send in an application. Well, I got accepted to all 5 colleges. And so I was like, well, shoot, I wanted at least like 1 or 2 so that it'd be knocked off or whatever. And so my parents and I decided one day, it was like random. We were just like, okay, let's go tour. Just go tour, see how you like it, what you think of it. And it was like the moment we stepped on campus, we were like, oh my gosh, like God is here. This school is really amazing. And we had just toured TCU like maybe 2-3 weeks before because I had the potential of a full ride there. And so so I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go to TCU. But God just wasn't there. Like, you only have to go to one religious class a semester, and it doesn't even have to be Christian. It could be any type of religion. Right. And the tour guide just wasn't that great. He was like, you can make this seat as big or as small as you want. Right. But as soon as we got onto DBU campus, they were like, we get to go to chapel 3 days a week. We get to praise and honor God in class. We get to do all this stuff. And like, it just like the amount of like praise and worship and glory that they brought to God while we were there. We were only there for maybe 4 hours, and we just felt renewed. And so I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
That's so weird that you mentioned the Masters. So, I mean, just sort of a random fact. My cousin Kelly went to the master's. He got his degree there, and then he got his master's, and then he's been a preacher up in Indiana for a long time. And my aunt, Gail, my mother's sister, has been involved with the master's, worked there, has gone on several mission trips to Afghanistan and Kazakhstan and a couple of other places. And so that's pretty cool that you mentioned that. But yeah, what a small world. So you guys are both there, and you have very similar backgrounds, I'm assuming. I mean, from what you've told us, I mean, you've got a large family like we do. So tell us a little bit about your story. I mean, you guys are in a blended family as well.
Yeah, so my parents got divorced when I was 3 years old. My dad got remarried when I was about 4, and his wife had a son. So I have a stepbrother who's 2 months and 2 days older than me. I love him like a brother. I treat him like a brother. He is my brother. And then my mom got remarried when I was 6 or 7 years old. And from that marriage came 3 of my younger siblings. And they're my siblings. I don't really like to say they're my half siblings, but whenever I'm talking to people, it's kind of easier just to say they're my half siblings so they don't talk or ask questions. But then I also have a full sister who's 15, and so there's a lot of us.
Yeah. So did you all have lots of conversations about family and trying to see, learning about how your backgrounds are very similar? I'm sure there's been time that you both have been able to just sit and go, this has been my experience. Mm-hmm. So does it help you to understand that there are other people that have gone through the same kind of thing that you've been through?
Yeah, it's amazing to me that God brings in people in your life that have gone through the same thing. Just like you with our moms, and then Maddie with her family. It's like, okay, God, like, I'm not alone. Dang, I'm already about to cry. But yeah, it was really amazing to be a part of her life and have her come into mine to kind of pour into each other and relate to each other, relate on strict parents, and just the amount of time that they have been together is about the same time that you guys have, a year more than y'all have. So it was really interesting how similar our stories are and all of the times of like having a blended family and everything. So it was really cool to have that.
Well, okay. So we talked a little bit. So tell us a little bit about life at DBU. What are things like? You guys have friends, a lot of friends that you hang out with. Tell us a little bit about just sort of the social aspect of things there.
Did you tell them about tag? We have our little friend group. We don't have like a huge group of people that we hang out with. There's a lot of different groups, and you kind of find I was thinking about this the other day. I told you about it, about how a lot of times whenever you're in high school, you have to choose between a pool of people that you have been with your entire life, and then in college, people find you, and it's like, okay, you're yourself no matter what. They don't know you, and so you get to show who you want to be to these people, and they say, okay, I want to be friends with you. So our little like friend group is really like, we discussed this on the way here too, like the most genuine friend group that we've had, just because they didn't know our past, and we just got to be who God really has wanted us to be in our growth and everything with them. So what were you saying?
Oh yeah, there's only like 5,000 people on campus, so like you're not gonna have that many people in your friend group. You can know just about everybody, but like the amount of personalities and like backgrounds that come in, you really get to like choose who you want to be your friend, and they get to choose you, and that's like really awesome, because back in high school, like people were shunning you or saying, oh, I want to be your friend, but only on these terms, or I'm going to be your friend, but I'm not really going to be your friend. But like in college, like these people are actually your friends. Like,
yeah.
I feel
especially with the Christian thing, like, oh, I'm going to be your friend on Wednesday and Sunday at church, but at school, I'm a completely different person. So I'm not going to be the same with you there as I am here at church. But at school, pretty much everyone loves the Lord, and they want to be accountable with people in that Christian way. So it's really cool for that too.
There's one thing about DBU that I remember them saying back in whenever we were going through all this process about how Christ is in every classroom and it's talked about and it's encouraged. And I told April whenever we were there, I said, if they do half the things that they say that they do once students arrive, then it'll be an amazing experience. So is that the case? I mean, is Christ in every classroom?
Yeah, for sure. I know that before every Old Testament class we pray. My math class, he preaches at us sometimes. My World Lit class, we have a ton of conversation about Christ and about how different cultures relate to each other. I've had probably the deepest talks about Christ in a class, in my world literature class, which is interesting because it's not a Christian class. It's a
Worldly class.
Yeah, world literature. So like it's about the world and the cultures. So it's great to be able to relate and look at everything through a Christian perspective. And I know that in your philosophy class there's a lot of
in my philosophy class you think like philosophy, like you're not supposed to have anything to do with philosophy. Christians these days are like, philosophy, we got to stay away from philosophy because like Paul says, like stay away from this shallow philosophy. But my philosophy teacher is like, if we don't have philosophy, we can't question and learn deeper about what God wants for us and what the word is actually meaning. Because whether you know it or not, whenever you read the word and you start thinking about it, you're actually doing philosophy. And so it's really awesome to be learning about Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato, and all these amazing philosophers, and being able to, even though that they weren't necessarily Christians, they still did have truth, and all truth is God's truth. Mm-hmm. So we're able to relate what they said thousands of years ago, even before Christ. We're able to relate it to what the word says and how we can use that to further our faith.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you've been quiet the whole time.
Well, I just have been listening to it. So there's been a few things that you guys have experienced since you've been there. You had a evacuation to where you had to evacuate and you went to Maddie's house. And I know that you said that there was international students that couldn't go anywhere. So what has it been like? Because both of you girls have been in pretty much the Bible Belt. So you've been around Christianity your whole life. What has it been like, do you think, for the international students that have come and are being immersed in the same culture that you guys are being immersed in?
Yeah. Well, actually, one of our friends, Bon, is from Seattle, Washington. That's not out of the country, but it's not in the Bible Belt, and it's very different in Washington than it is here in the Bible Belt. And I talked to him a little bit about it, and he was like, oh, yeah, it's completely different. He said at his high school there were maybe 4 people that were Christians, and even some of his family isn't fully Christian. And then I think he said one of his teachers had a lanyard that said Jesus saves, and a student literally walked up to the teacher and said, that offends me. And so they took it to the board, and she can't wear that lanyard anymore. And all it said was Jesus saves. She wasn't preaching anything. She wasn't speaking out, but someone takes offense to that. And so it's very different, the persecution for sure. And he was like, oh, it's really cool to come here because everyone goes to church. Everyone does that. And I talked to him like, oh, it's really cool to be in the Bible Belt, but also church can be a bit of a place of complacency. So where you've lived, you know what life is like to be a Christian, and you know, like, okay, I am saved. All of those things, the right things to know about Christ. And then here, people go to church and it's like it's a routine. So it's different, the positive and negative aspects of the Bible Belt, discussing them with people who haven't lived here their entire lives.
Did you?
I've actually been to China and Cambodia, where it's basically against the law to proclaim any kind of religion. And I even have some friends on campus who are from China. There's one from Thailand. And they definitely say that it's awesome to be here, where people can openly proclaim their faith. Whereas back there at home, like if they were to do that, they would be killed on the spot. And it was definitely really hard to be in China, coming from America, where we can say, oh, I believe in Jesus. He has saved me and all this stuff. But there, like, you had to watch what you say, because their cameras are like high-tech cameras. They can hear every single conversation that's going on. And if you say the wrong thing, even if it's not even related to religion, but if it can be pointed to religion, they will come after you. And so it's definitely like an eye-opener to be able to like realize I can openly speak about my faith, whereas all these other people are being persecuted for what they believe, and they're even killed for it. Whereas here, I can say, oh, I love Jesus, and everybody's like, yeah, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And the only kind of persecution I have is like either emotional or verbal persecution. It's not physical, like there.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
Not about that.
Well, I'm just meaning about for the girls.
So has it been liberating to be able to do pretty much what you want to do on a daily basis? You guys have a pretty light schedule, even if you're doing 18 hours. And then the rest of the time you're at the college and you kind of got freedom that you haven't had.
You don't have mom and dad.
Yeah, I was going to say.
What are you doing? Where are you going? When are you going to be
You
back?
talked about the strict parents.
Yeah.
So how have you guys handled that, do you think?
It's definitely different because whenever I was home, like I maybe left the house whenever I was going to school or whenever I was going to church, or maybe the slim opportunities I got to go out and visit friends. It's definitely different, like knowing that I can actually do whatever I want and I don't have to be cooped up in the house or go ask mom or dad, hey, can I go do this? So most of the time I'm like, well, I can do whatever I want. What do I want to do?
Yeah, exactly. Now what?
Yeah.
But it's definitely different, and I'm definitely having to learn the balance between actually having a social life and keeping up with my responsibilities. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I get to go hang out with friends. I can go do that. Like I don't have to talk to mom and dad about it. I can go do this. But then I'm like, well, no, I kind of want to keep my grades up, so I gotta go study.
Yeah,
So-
we're into the self-discipline part of it,
Yeah.
where we're like, okay, mom and dad aren't making us stay home and finish this or do that, so now we have to say, I have homework, or we have to get together and do homework and not go somewhere and do something.
Right.
But we're just like, it's like crazy little adventures. We went to IKEA last weekend. Maddie wasn't there. She wasn't home yet.
Invited.
We weren't home yet. You came home late.
Yeah.
We did go to IKEA.
Just to be clear, I took them to IKEA whenever we went down to visit, and both of them were just telling me how dumb it was.
You notice I didn't go to IKEA.
You went to IKEA.
I'm not going there by choice.
I think it's fun to look at the stuff.
It is.
How long did it take you to walk through there?
Takes a while.
That one was only one floor, so it was like, I think we were there for 2 hours. From like 6 something to 8.
2 hours trapped in the maze of an IKEA. I mean, that's a little much for me.
Goofing around. Not breaking anything, but
The last one that I went into, they had little hoverboards you could get. I don't know where you could get them, but there was like 10 different people that were on hoverboards just leaning forward and going through the little... I was like, what are you doing, people?
You get on it and fall, hurt yourself, sue the IKEA.
pay for my college.
Next time you go, remember that.
Okay.
So
I'll jump off like the top bunk of something.
I'll push you.
say there wasn't a sign that said I couldn't. So anyway. All right.
Coming tomorrow to IKEA's signs.
Exactly. So, all right, girls. We're glad that you guys came to see us this weekend. We love getting to see you and interact with you. Maddie, it was awesome that you came with her. Hopefully our little town is not as goofy as she probably made it out to be.
It's a lot like my hometown.
Yeah. So you guys are headed back today. You got tests to study for tonight.
Yeah.
Got Old Testament tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And there was something else. Was there? Or was that
I
the
have a
only
world
thing?
lit test to do.
Yeah. You have to do it?
Yeah.
And to do...
It shouldn't take too long. It's just like, it's online.
Okay.
So-
So you got to
Lucky.
get situated and get back, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being a part. And it was really good. So thank you. Well, there you have it. There's Maddie and Jadyn. What a great story I think that they are building. And again, God's going to do a lot through them where they're at. I just, I love the way that they interact together.
Well, and I think that that's where I kind of got my clarity on my thankfulness of not being persecuted. You know, listening to Maddie talk about going over to China. So.
I almost laughed when she said that. She said we went to China and Thailand. And I thought, hey, Reagan, do you want to come talk to Maddie about the difference? But I didn't. So, but anyway, we're looking forward to tomorrow. Starts the 40-day prayer challenge.
And if you didn't understand that joke, go back to day 16.
Yeah, okay. 40-day prayer challenge starts tomorrow. Please join. It'll be good. It'll be fun. It'll be changing. It'll help you see things in a new way. And we'll be talking about the things that we are going to be praying over. And so I'm really excited about it. So we'll see you tomorrow, day 34, November 4th, the start of the 40-day prayer challenge. All right? The links are still below. Check it out. We'll see you tomorrow.